Hello, we are going to be going over the Unit 1, Lesson 1 notes. I am going to just do a few of these just to help you guys remember what we are doing. So today I just want to go over is how to solve for your variable. And I do have the notes up at the top. Remember, you're going to optional, you can multiply to clear any fractions. We can simplify each side with the parentheses, combine like terms, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then we can check the solution. So for the very first one, let me get my pen out. Okay, so the very first one, I can see that I have the variable m on the same side, so I am going to combine it. There. Okay, and we're going to get 8m plus 13m. It's going to be 21m equals 42. Then we have no addition, subtraction. We're going to go straight to multiplication, division. This is being multiplied, so we are going to do the opposite and divide both by both. Divide it 21 on both sides. Sorry, tongue-tied today. So we get 2. Okay. Then this one we have parentheses. So there is 2 ways you could do parentheses, and I'm going to show you both ways. The first one is if we distribute the 3, and we'd get 18 equals 9x minus 18. And then we're going to solve it. So add 18 to both sides. Because this one is being subtracted, we add it. And then we're going to divide. So we get 4 equals x. Or you can switch it as x equals 4. Does not matter. Now the other way, sorry, touching a button. Hands. Hand placements is always fun. Okay, so 18 equals 3x minus 6. This time, I know I could multiply everything by 3, but I'm going to divide 3 on both sides. And you only do that if the number over here can be divided by the same thing. So we can get this one, and we get this to be 6 equals 3x minus 6. Add 6 to both sides. Get 12 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and we get 4 equals x. So the exact same answer, but 2 different ways. And you can pick whichever way you want to do. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and do the next one, and then I'm going to go on to the others. So this one, we're going to get rid of the adding and subtracting first. So I'm going to get rid of this negative 3. So I'm going to add it. And I get 40 equals 5, parentheses x plus 6. And I know 5 can go into 40, so I'm just going to get rid of it right now because it's a little bit easier. But remember, there are more than one way to solve. And then we get back to the addition subtraction again. And we get their answer of x equals 2. This is just to refresh your memory on how to solve for equations. So the next one is we want to get y by itself. That's the big thing. We do want to get y by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the y and whatever it's there with. And I want to get that by itself. So I'm going to get rid of everything else and then start from there. So I'm going to minus the 4x on both sides. 3y. And the negative 2 and the negative 4x are not the same thing. One has a variable, one doesn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and write them one right after the other. It doesn't really matter which one comes first or second. I just like having the letter first. And now we get the y by itself. So we're going to divide everything by 3. And we get y equals negative 4/3 x minus 2/3. And you get your answer. And we're going to do a lot of these starting tomorrow. And these are going to be called inverses. So just a term to look forward to. All right, so next thing, we want the y by itself, so we're going to move the 3 and always do the opposite. So x minus 3 equals negative 3/4 y. Now with this one, you could always do the inverse of 3/4, multiply both sides by negative 4/3. I find it's just a little bit easier if I just multiply everything by the denominator, and I'm going to take that negative with it since it's just much easier to get rid of it now. I'm going to multiply every number by negative 4. So we're going to go negative 4x plus 12 equals 3y. And now this is a much easier problem. We're going to divide everything by 3. Remember, equations are like little kids. If one gets something, they all will do. So we're going to get negative 4/3 x plus 4 equals y. And you're going to continue doing that. All right, so let's go down to where we have the squares. So here we want, oops, you touch a button and it moves. Okay, so we're going to get this by itself. So we want to add 100. And we're going to get x plus 100 equals 4y squared. Now we need to get the y squared by itself, so we're going to divide everything by 4. And remember, if there's no number in front of the x, it is a 1, so 1/4 x plus 25 equals y squared. And now to get rid of a square, hopefully you guys all remember, to get rid of a square, we're going to take the square root. We're going to take the square root of both sides, and we're going to put a plus or minus in there. So hopefully from IM2 you remember this. And we're going to get the answer to be plus or minus square root, because the answer could be positive or negative. We don't know until we actually solve. 5 equals y. And we will be graphing these yet tomorrow and the next day. Let's just try one more, and then you will see. Okay, again, we want the y by itself, but the y has all of this. So we're going to leave that alone until the next step. So we get x plus 9 equals y minus 3 squared. We're going to take the square root of both sides because we want to get rid of the square. We take the square root, and if we were doing the opposite, if we want to get rid of the square root, we're going to square everything. So think of it as Superman's kryptonite. So we're going to have a plus and minus, x plus 9. Square gets rid of the square root, so we just have y minus 3. Now we're going to get the y by itself, add 3. Now the 3 is not a square root, so it can't go in with the 9 or the x. Square roots or radicals are very, very picky. They only want to be added or subtracted to someone like themselves. So we're going to go 3 plus or minus x plus 9 equals y. There's a few more problems on here, but that is the gist of this lesson.